Namaste and welcome to SymbiCare Dialogue, a flagship podcast of Symbiosis International Deemed University, focusing on women's well-being. I'm your host for today, Dr. Neha Parashar, Professor and Director at Symbiosis School of Banking and Finance. Our theme is very simple but profound. Women are inherently financially disciplined and capable. Yet many of us hesitate to make ownership of our financial decisions due to long-standing societal conditioning and self-doubts. How can we close this gap and empower women to conditionally and confidently lead their own financial choices? To help us delve with the deeper understanding of this, we are going to have an important conversation. And believe me, you will all learn a lot out of this conversation. And it is our privilege to welcome our distinguished and highly respected voice in the personal finance and financial education, Ms Monika Halan. Ms Halan is a founder of Dhan Chakra Financial Education and a best-selling author of Let's Talk Money, Let's Talk Mutual Fund, and Let's Talk Legacy. With over 3 decades of experience spanning journalism, public policy, and investors' education, she has played a pivotal role in empowering millions of Indian families to make informed and confident financial decisions. She also served as a chairperson of SEBI's Advisory Committee for Investors' Protection and Education Fund, making her perspective particularly insightful and relevant for today's discussion. Monika, welcome to SymbiCare Dialogue. We are truly delighted and honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, Neha. I am privileged to be here and absolutely delighted to be talking to you.
So, Monika, before we start this conversation, this dialogue, one of the most frequently voiced concern which we hear from women in today's era is that I manage the entire household budget, but when it comes to investment or financial planning, I hesitate. I fear I might make a mistake. This sentiment is so whispered and widespread that it deserves to be acknowledged and addressed. Women constantly demonstrate exceptional financial prudence. Believe me, I have seen so many of them doing that. Effectively running household, optimizing budget, planning for festivals, children education, and so many unforeseen emergencies. Yet, despite this capability, many carry an internationalized and a strong belief that a strategic financial decision making are meant to be taken by someone else, not them. This hesitation is neither individual nor accidental, and I'm sure you believe that. It is truly deep-rooted in the historical and cultural conditioning. For decades, financial management was informally assigned to women, while financial decision-making was perceived as a male responsibility. Monika, in your extensive interaction with women across India and globally, I'm sure you have came across so many experiences. Have you observed this dynamic manifest, and what's the pattern stand out to you?
No, absolutely. This is a very valid question and it's a deep-seated observation. It's an observation that is so manifest that I'm surprised that it's not been spoken about till now. It's only, people like you've been also so strong on this idea that women need to go beyond just household budgets, but really in terms of strategic decisions on their finances and the family's finances. I think we have to look at the gender equations in our households. And there is no other way of saying it that we bring up our boys and girls differently. It doesn't matter whether it's a village or a small town or a rich Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore household. We do bring up our girls and boys differently. The girls are conditioned from a very early age. There is this idea that there is a male protector, whether it's a husband, whether it's a father or a brother or a son. The idea of the man taking care of all of these strategic decisions is sort of instilled as she is growing up. So that's one part that this is the sort of households that we bring our girls and boys up in. The other part, of course, is the ownership of assets. And this is particularly true in business families. And you have to understand that the organized sector workforce, the professionals we are part of a very small educated elite. It is not the norm. The assets are typically passed down the male line. And if the girl child doesn't know the assets, she will not ask for her share because now legally she can. So it's just easier to separate her from the household assets and their decisions. And at the time of marriage, a certain sum is given. You can call it whatever, dowry, gifts, you can name it in any way. And usually an NOC is taken from her, a no objection certificate that the other assets pass down to the brother or brothers. So I think this is really, it's an asset play within families so that the assets go down the male line. Of course, it needs to change. Of course, we need women to get more empowered. And, so there is the poorer strata of society, the less elite strata might actually have better assets just because they have gold than somebody who's dependent on a husband in a large city and instead of assets has this junk.
So I totally agree. Thank you. Thank you, Monika. And what you have shared truly resonate with us. And I totally believe that's the mindset which we used to carry since ages. And it brings to mind a simple yet a powerful thought. Confidence often follow clarity. Yes. I would like to add one more layer from our experiences that at Symbiosis International University, our community outreach program and financial literacy initiatives at Symbiosis School of Banking and Finance and other institutes across, we constantly observe that the moment women are given simple, relatable, and explainable things, they bloom. Their confidence rises almost instantly. This is Absolutely. Precisely why our financial literacy program, Monika, emphasizes simplicity, more of storytelling, and practical, actionable step rather than a complex jargons. With that spirit, I would like to share a small, accessible tool for all the women listening to me and Monika today, the 3-cube rule. And that's very important. Believe me, that's very important. I practically implemented that. And I'm sure all of you will listen and implement the same. 3 minutes each day. 3 basic questions about your money. And 3 small financial decisions taken independently. I'm sure if you follow this 3-cube rule, you will make a difference in your life and people around you. It's not about a product or a perfection. It's about confidence building habit, and that need to be developed among all the women around. We are strong. We need to be stronger. And I'm sure with the financial literacy, we all will be. So Monika, building on your insightful reflections, could you share one practical or actionable tool or a simple start today tip with all the women who are listening you today, who can immediately apply and take greater ownership of their financial decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is in fact what I talk about the book, Let's Talk Money. This is the 3rd edition. I don't start with investments. Investments in the book comes at a much later stage. Okay. I start with the baby steps of saying that you need to get your cash flow system in place. So I call it the Dhan Chakra. It's a circle of wealth. And that really starts from getting your cash flows in order, which means, do you have visibility on how much you're earning and how much you're spending and saving? So it's a very simple thing that I ask people to do. Most people have more than one bank account. I recommend 3 bank accounts. Okay, for lower income women, it may be difficult, but for the professional women who are working, not in the rural areas, I think 3 bank accounts is not a problem. So one account, you name your income account. So every rupee into your life drops into your income account. So when you label something, and these are lessons from behavioral economics, when you label something, you sort of understand what the purpose of that particular account is. So from your income account at the beginning of every month, you transfer the amount that you think you will spend that month. So suppose you're earning 50,000, let's assume. Then maybe 30,000 you move to your second bank account and you label it spend it account. This is your spending account. All your spending happens from this. And whatever is left, say 20,000, you're moving to a third account and you're labeling it invest it. This is the account from which your investments will happen. Right now, you have segregated your spending from your saving because the invested account is only beginning to gather the money. You're not investing it yet. You're waiting to get the rhythm of your cash flow right. And this one small tool allows you to put savings as a target rather than a residue. So at the top of the month, you can say, I'm going to save 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees and move that into your invested account. And the rest you move to your spend it account. And that's all that you have to spend. So this one simple tool really puts power in your hands because now you have visibility between your spending and saving. Because detailed budget making starts on 1st of Jan, but by 1st of Feb, it's all gone. It's too tedious. It's easier to work with saying that I have 40,000 rupees to spend this month, or I have 1 lakh rupees to spend this month. I know this is all that I have. My spending will adjust to what I have. Right? So it's just a very simple, intuitive tool which uses the lessons of behavioral economics to give you the first step towards your financial empowerment journey. That's all that I want you to do for 6 months. Just do this. And it's more complicated than it seems because our finances are tied up with family members. We have joint accounts. You'll have to segregate. Your income account should be a single ownership account. You can make whoever in your family as the nominee. Your spend it can be joint with somebody who shares your expenditures per month. And your invested account is again a single owner with a nominee in place. Right? So you have always control on your income and your investments, so your savings. Your spending, which could be joint with other family members, is a joint account. So these are important, these are practical, important things to remember on how to execute your journey towards financial empowerment.
Excellent. Thank you, Monika. 3 accounts. That's such insightful. I have never thought from that particular angle. I've been in the industry since last 20 years in the education industry, but excellent insight. And I appreciate the same. And the second important thing which you highlighted, that saving cannot be a residue. Rightly said. We all women, especially those women who think towards investment and saving, should start planning about saving. It cannot be a residue. Well said. And that's such a simple and encouraging approach. These small steps, believe me, done constantly help women realize that they have already have the capabilities. They simply need space and confidence to use it. So, Monika, let's move ahead. And there is one more concern which relate to fear of consciousness. So many women expresses this sentiment very candidly, and they say, if a financial decision I take results in a loss, which many of us still think, I will find it very difficult to forgive myself. That is something which come across by many women whom we talk about financial literacy in villages also, in schools also. So this fear is understandable, deeply rooted. It seems that from the profound sense of responsibility women often carry towards their family and loved ones, where financial decisions are closely tied to emotional accountability. Monika, we all would like to know your experiences. How can women move past this fear of making mistakes and begin to take financial decisions with more confidence, with more assurity, and looking forward?
No, this is a really great question because it is indeed the fear of making mistakes. And for some reason,
True.
when men lose large sums, they don't feel a similar sense of shame or guilt or responsibility. They just go ahead and make that mistake. The only thing that women can do is to begin with products they understand. There is no recourse but to educate yourself, to empower yourself. So if it is gold you understand, just buy gold. If it is bank deposits that you're understanding, please just use fixed deposits. Don't listen to the new influencers who are making you ashamed of using these products. Of course, you should move to financialization. Of course, we want to make you invest in the markets through the mutual fund route because that's the safest way of targeting a higher return. But unless you understand the products, so mutual fund is not a product. It is thousands of schemes out there. It's across stocks, bonds, gold, silver, combinations of these. Unless you can understand what you're buying investing in, don't do it.
Well said and beautifully put. And you have put so many investment avenues in front of the women who are listening to us that I'm sure after listening to this conversation, this podcast, they will think, they will take a step, they will go, they will try and understand that particular investment avenue, and they will definitely invest. Symbiosis International University through SSBF and various outreach programs support financial awareness at community level. And we also, Monika, focuses that especially for women from a lower income household, that the decision become informed and safe. Please read. Please take decisions where you're confident enough. We also give them tools to build their own decision-making muscles without fear. For example, we ask them to start with a trial investment, a small amount to invest. Be comfortable, read the documents, understand that investment, and then invest. So I am sure everyone who is listening to us understand this. Like a small SIP or a recurring deposit, please start investment. Read and invest. Your future is in your hand, and we need our future to be stronger. Moving ahead, Monika, the final concern from many women raising is about time, and we all crave for time, you know that. So our Women's Day is often filled with multiple responsibility, balancing work, family, countless commitments from early morning to late nights. In such a reality, when we encourage women to focus on financial learning, we ask them to read, we ask them to study. Most natural questions come is, where is the time? Where will I find the time to do all these things? So Monika, if you can give and help us to find out that if you were to suggest one simple and sustainable routine for a woman with a busy schedule, for a woman who is doing so many things at one time, what should you recommend?
Well, this is a really practical problem that every woman faces because we're working inside the house, we're working outside the house, we're looking after the extended family, and really there is very little time. I can only suggest that maybe half a day every month you schedule into your calendar. And I know it's very difficult to do, but for half a day every month, if you can devote just to understanding the basics. So if you are unable to do the complicated, at least the bank FT doesn't need so much of understanding or
So true.
learning. It's only when you start risk-based products that you need learning and understanding. So at least when you are in that very busy period and you're unable to do the learning required for the risky products, at least start with your guaranteed products. Just do that much and then take time out. There are a lot of apps which will also teach you, so the 10 minutes that you might get somewhere could be used in a online course. There's so many of those online courses. You could be upgrading your knowledge in that time. So those are the only things I can say, but I fully empathize with the fact that this is the one help that a woman asks for that a man is happy to give, not in managing the house, not in cooking the food, but in managing money, because money is power. So I think the day that a
So
woman
true.
understands that money is power and her bargaining power within the household goes up, that is the day she will find the time to empower herself and start taking these decisions and ensuring that her name is on the assets. So even if you don't have the time, maybe it is your male partner or your father or your son, whoever, I think you can at least ask questions. And these are very difficult questions to ask within families. What are the assets in my name? Is the house jointly owned by me? In the stock certificates, in the mutual funds, am I a joint owner? Who is the nominee on your bank accounts? Where are the insurance papers kept? These are difficult questions because immediately there is a male pushback to say, you don't trust me, you want me to die. No. Answer to those questions is no, but I would like to protect myself also. So I think you have to just keep chipping away at this structure which says that you should not ask questions because that displays a lack of trust. I think you'll have to move beyond that. And then if you just keep at it, keep asking the questions, at some point you will begin to get answers. In a lot of households, they don't want you to know. Of course, many households are different, but in a lot of households, they don't want you to know where the assets are and whose name they are. I think it's important for you to know Even if you can't do this yourself, you should know what the assets of the household are, whether your name is on them, where is the paperwork, who's the nominee. If something happens, what happens to the money? This is something you have to do for yourself, for your future.
Well articulated and to the point. We don't take time to ask questions to people, and it hardly takes 3 to 5 minutes daily if you make it as a habit. On this behalf, Monika, we thank you for joining us, lending your voice, wisdom, and encouragement to so many women around. We look forward to meet Monika again.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely a pleasure to be here. And what a wonderful conversation. Thank you.
And to every woman listening today, thank you for gifting yourself these few moments of reflection and learning. Choosing to get engaged in a conversation around money is itself important, a powerful step towards self-empowerment. You deserve clarity in your finances, confidence in your decision, and independence in shaping your future. Rightly said by someone, when a woman becomes financially literate, she doesn't just secure her own future. She strengthens the well-being of a family and the generations that follow. So with this, until we meet again, goodbye, signing off. Special thanks to Monika, and take care of your health, nurture your mind, and be mindful for money. Thank you, everyone.